family. Boo, 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 boo. Welcome back to Perspective with Itu, where we have conversations that matter with your favorite celebrities. Today on Perspective with Itu, I'm incredibly honored to sit down with a woman whose name has stirred a lot of conversations and captured the hearts of many South Africans. Ladies and gentlemen, Norma Mngoma. She's not just known for her high-profile past. Norma is a resilient mother, a savvy businesswoman, a tech enthusiast, and a woman who has chosen healing, purpose, and bold reinvention over the weight of public scrutiny. Sure, so powerful here. From navigating storms in the public eye to building platforms that empower women and young people in tech and business, Norma is a testament that you can rise not despite your story, but because of it. So grab your coffee, your tea, or your journal, because today we're going deep. Yeah. We are talking healing, motherhood, grace under fire, and redefining yourself on your own terms. Welcome to Perspective with Itu, Norma.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Sure. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Where do I even start with you? Because, you are a powerful woman. And I think when I spoke about reinvention, which we are going to talk about much later on, I just want to start the conversation here. You wrote on the 10th of January this year, "Thank you so much, Cape Town. I really enjoyed this holiday. Everything was so peaceful and seeing my kids happy was everything. Although I don't like going to the beach, worse to sit there for hours, but it was worth it. I wanted to show my kids that love comes in different forms. Sometimes you sacrifice your own time and do things you don't like to make other people happy, because it's not about you all the time. I want them to experience so much love from me and learn to give it to other people because they see me care for them. I really enjoy allowing them expressing themselves, listening to their conversations, and planning our dates. I want to assure them that their opinions matter to me and I care about how they feel and will do anything to be a part of their beautiful upbringing. And I want them to become the best and be more loving individuals. Their existence, hugs, and kisses mean so much to me. Cheers, 2025.
That was so nice. Now you're studying in the emotional part. I don't know that I cried today. That's why I didn't bring tissue. My kids are my weakness. Yeah.
Sure. You said here that I wanted to show my kids that love comes in different forms. Sometimes you sacrifice your own time and do things you don't like to make other people happy, because it's not about you all the time. Do you think that you always put other people in front of you?
I think I did in the past. I'm still unlearning not to do so much of it, because that's where you lose yourself. So I don't want to lose myself anymore. But also it's so important because it's not about you all the time. Sometimes it's about the next person. When it comes to other relationship or sisterhood, there are certain things that you won't like as a person. But if I say I love Itu, Itu like this, sometimes I will go and attend that and respect it. So for me, if you say you love someone, consider their feelings. Even if you say no because there's boundaries, but you do it in a good way. You can't, let me make an example. You invited me here. If I didn't want to come here, I was supposed to tell you so that you don't expect me. But let's say, no, I didn't want to come here, but I just don't teach, I don't say anything. That for me, it's a sign of disrespect. So it doesn't mean putting other people means yes all the time. It can be a no sometimes, but it's the approach that lies in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you think that you always put other people's happiness, though, in front of yours?
Not always. I'm a very strong person for always. But I think when it comes to marriage, I think I did.
Okay.
I think I did because it was the love I have for my family, the love I have for my children. And also because I come from a family where my parents were divorced. So it's that thing of vouching that, oh, Mina, I'll make sure that And sometimes things don't work in that way. So then that's where you lose yourself, and that's where the bitterness comes from, because you feel like I shouldn't have done this. You know, when you have boundaries, you don't have to resent certain things because you didn't give so much where you shouldn't have to give.
Sure.
So it's not I always give so much of myself, but in my marriage, yes, I did. I did. But I don't regret doing it because I did it for more of my kids. It was no one else. It was my children.
You mentioned marriage. What type of boundaries did you not set for yourself, in your marriage that put other people right in front of you?
It's maybe taking certain things for the sake of peace, not addressing certain issues because you feel like you want in the house to be peaceful. Also, believing yourself to allowing certain person to shine because you feel like, oh, let me put it differently. It's not knowing when to dim your light.
Sure.
Yeah, then maybe you say, okay, because this thing of being a wife, sometimes you think I'm being a wife, and you are just believing yourself. So by allowing another person, and also I come in a culture where a man is just a herd, but it's not only in my culture as a Zulu woman, biblically,
Sure.
Your husband needs to be there, but sometimes you need to know where you are submitting to. So sometimes it's so hard to give submission because you don't know, is this submission or is me undermining myself? It's me believing myself. But when you don't have so much to give anymore, when it's just empty, that's where you feel like, actually, I shouldn't have done that. But see, remember when you get married, you don't know everything, you're just learning. There's no manual for marriage. And any individuals, and I was their first time mother, it was my first marriage. But even if it can be a third or fourth, there's no manual to this thing. Things happen until you feel like, yeah, no. But I think by age, there are certain things I won't do now because I'm wiser and I'm older. And also I'm not in desperation of keeping an individual who doesn't want to be kept.
Sure.
I'm not in that space anymore.
Sure. What type of things do you think that you accepted that you were not supposed to accept in your marriage?
I won't even say things. There are certain things you think are truth, and then it was lies.
Sure.
So then media will reveal those things, and you feel like, oh, I was lied to. But now because you are already angry and the damage is so big, there's not even a space. Because I'm a kind of somebody who like to give peace. So there were certain times where I felt like I can't even ask why you've done this because there's so much noise outside. I wanted our home to be a peaceful space. And it was taken in a wrong way, like, oh, Norma takes everything. It was not I was taking everything, but I wanted him to have one space where he can call home and it's peaceful. But then by me doing that, it was me taking and stomaching so many things which I shouldn't have done that. But I did it I didn't want when media was writing so much, there was so much outside. And other things also, I wanted to figure out, is it true? Did it happen? Also when someone say, I didn't do something or I've done it, I'm still trying to digest that. Did it happen or not? And also at the same time, I vouched to myself when I said I do that I will make our home peaceful.
Sure.
So it was like pain versus peace most of the time. And me trying to force peace, then I lost myself in that.
Sure.
Yeah.
What type of conversations were you having with yourself behind closed doors?
I think the time I was not grown so much in faith as a woman who pray a lot. As much as I grew up in a family with Christians, it was more of why me? Which now I will never ask that kind of a question because I understand what God says, what allows, how He can take us through situations. But that time it was more why this is happening, especially because I wanted this so much for myself, for us, for the kids. But everything was just taking left when everything was supposed to take right. Yeah.
Sure. And you dimmed yourself.
I really did. I really did in a space where it became like a norm. Oh no, this woman is so dumb. Oh, this woman is like this. This woman is like this. Because I didn't want to question certain things. Also, I didn't want to reveal so much truth. Also, I didn't want to be against him. So that was perceived as, oh, she's just a stupid woman, or she's shallow, or whatever it was. But I didn't care as long as we have us. So I didn't care how people think of me that time. Now I do. I really do that. I really do.
Were you scared of him?
Not that much, because he was not he has never been a loud person or violent. But it's just like everything was emotional breaking in a subtle way on a daily basis. But he has never been a violent person. So I was never scared of him, but I respected him too much, I think. I gave him too much respect that he didn't deserve.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Not respecting him.
Why do you think that he didn't deserve that respect?
Because I feel like he never respected our home.
Sure.
A lot happened. Someone who say you love somebody, you won't lie to people that you love. You won't expose your home. You will protect it because that was his position, to protect me as the wife and protect the children, protect us as a home. But he failed to do that. That's where I felt like he didn't deserve that. Although I gave him, even when I knew that he doesn't deserve, but it didn't stop me to do it because I vouched that I will do it until I leave. Yeah.
What was the last straw for you?
I don't even know how to talk about it. There's so much. I think maybe the arrest more than everything. Finding someone at home, in our home, for me, I felt like that was just too extent. I think any human being, your home is a sacred space. Even if you know as woman, but that for me, I felt like he had zero respect for me and our home. Shouldn't have allowed anybody to be inside our home, our bed, because that was a sacred space for us. Or crossing that, he lost me. The arrest thing, I felt like it was a more of betrayal more than everything, which is something I always ask myself, why though? But now I'm asking myself, not him. Yeah, I think those two more than everything. The rest, I don't care.
Did you ever have a conversation with him to say that this is like, you have honestly like crossed the line and this is what you did and this is how you've hurt me? And did he ever acknowledge your feelings when you said that?
I think about bringing the woman, yes, I did. About the arrest, I think we never talked much at the time because I was not in a space of talking or having a conversation. The time it was no time for sitting. Yeah, so I've never sat. But yeah, the other stuff. Also, it was pointless. It was pointless to keep on raising because there's not even one day where maybe will raise something, he won't listen. You know, he will always give you the ear, but he will keep doing the same thing. But also when someone's always denying things, what's the use of having a conversation with that person? But also the entitlement of other wives are doing this. So why you are also because I'm doing this, or I'm providing because I buy you this, I do this and this. So I felt like the entitlement of what's the word? The entitlement of materialistic things made him think he won't be accountable for anything.
Sure.
Because I do so much for the kids, I do so much for you. Because of that, I can get away with it. Also, why are you asking? Because I wanted like a husband, not material things. There was a time for that, but I wanted like a home more than everything. Yeah.
Sure. I also feel like you protected your family.
It was my role.
Yeah.
It was my role. It was my role as a wife, as a mother. It was my role.
How did that make you feel, considering that we are taught that men are the protectors, and now you, as a woman, have to take on that role? How did that affect you as a young, beautiful woman who is supposed to be protected, but you're not?
I think it made me angry. It made me angry, make me bitter. But with time, I got healed. I healed myself. I felt like I don't want to carry this anymore because it's your role as an individual, how long you want to carry something. And also, I realized no matter how much I was talking, I was not going to change this person.
Sure.
This is who he is. He was so used to certain things, and I was not the person who was going to change him. And it was a time for me to focus on myself, healing myself, be a better mother for my children, be a healed mother for them, a healed individual for myself and for my friends and my family. So I had to take that decision for myself without any sorry from somebody, because sometimes we do so much expecting a closure that you'll never have, which the closure sometimes is just take a decision. You don't have to, because the thing of fighting for closure comes with accountability and responsibility. If someone is not accountable, there's no closure you're going to get. So you stand up for yourself, and that it's closure itself. And sometimes the closure won't come from the other person. It comes from you taking a decision, which I feel like that healed me more than everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
You mention your children a lot.
I love my children. I love them.
What conversations did you have with them when you were about to leave?
I didn't have much, to be honest, because I think I asked them to tell them that we were going to get a divorce, and he refused. I think until today he had never told them that we're going to divorce, because he was like, oh, okay, because you're the one who want to take the decision, you want to do it, so you tell them. So I remember when I told them alone, but I didn't know what should I say to them.
Sure.
But I think my kids were not ready, because we both protect them so much from what was happening outside. My kids doesn't know so much what's outside. You know, I know sometimes people, they're like, oh, I wonder they are children. My kids doesn't know. I think when maybe they're grown, they will know certain things. There are things that they don't know until today.
Sure.
And my worry is, what age do they will know those things? Should I tell them, or they will find out those things from the maybe social media or on the internet? I don't know, but my kids, they don't know much, so they were affected by the divorce because they witnessed when we found someone at home, they witnessed me leaving our home, and they were so affected by it at that time. because the school were calling us all the time, no, we need to come pick them up, because they were so used to a close family, because both of us, we love them, which that's one thing I will never take away from their father. You know, he was there for them. But for me, being there for children is not to breaking them emotional, not only for providing for them, you know, but I think after everything that has happened, we both show up to them at this point. Time to time, I ask them how are they feeling, because I didn't want to stand in front of my children and having the relationship with their father. He's their father and is willing to be part of their journey. I separated myself from the situation, which I chose to carry the load by myself, by not me pouring to my children. So my kids, they don't know how much I was hurt or humiliated. They just don't know. And until today, my kids think their father is the best thing ever happened. And I want to keep it that way until they see otherwise, or they don't see it, because it's not like it's something that, oh, one day I want my kids to see. It will be so nice if they don't see it. They remain in their innocence, but also I don't have a control of that. But I'm grateful and I appreciate how we both show up for them, because we are both intentional how we show up to them.
Sure.
Yeah, but it took me so much for me to stomach things for them, which one day they will know that mommy went through so much for us to be happy. There's so much. I think there's certain times where I'll go pick up my kids, they don't open the gate, or maybe I'm here to drop off my kids. Gate is not open, but I have to keep my cool, act like, oh no, you know, but I know what's happening, but I didn't want them to see, oh wow. So every time I have to be the bigger person for them, because I didn't want my kids to see me breaking, because I know they don't like it. My kids don't like when I'm not okay. So there's so much where it's always their happiness first. Because the reason I'm doing that, my kids never asked to be born. It was our decision. So I want them, when they're experiencing problems, it must be their own problems, but not what I brought at home. Yeah.
Sure. Can you take us through the day when you walked in with your kids and you found him with a woman in your house? How was that like for you, considering that you always want to be the bigger person, especially for your children, you know, in that moment? What was happening?
I think because we didn't know, we all cried. My kids cried. Then the nanny took the kids. I was mad. Like, I was so mad. I was very, very mad. And he couldn't even say much. And it's one thing I don't want to talk about, because I don't have any explanation. If I can say much, I'll be lying, because I don't know until today why that happened. But also, I've never ever asked my kids about it. I think maybe I'm scared.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say to them also. Even if I'm not scared, I don't know what to ask them. I don't know what to say about it. But on the day, what I remember, my kids cried so much. I cried. I screamed. I was very, very mad. But I was more disappointed more than everything. But it's just history. Like, it's history. I'm not sure, maybe therapy helped my kids on that, because I've never revisited it. It's just like I pray for my children. I'm trusting God that He will heal them from it. And I'm hoping my kids will never do something like that to their partners, because they saw how much. But my kids were very young, so although kids don't forget. So I don't know. I don't want to lie. I don't know how is it for them, because we never spoke about it. Yeah, we never spoke about it.
But before your marriage, there was Norma, right?
Yeah.
And we want to get to know Norma. Okay. What do they call you at home?
Well, so my full name is Norma Mngoma.
Okay.
So in Joburg, they call me Norma more. But Mzimkhulu and KZN, they call me the last part of my name, which is Kule.
Kule.
Yeah, Norma Kule means someone who will love herself, who's a perfectionist, who does things so.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But there are people who call me also Norma.
Yeah. What does your mom call you?
My mom called me with everything. Like, sometimes she called me Sisi, Tadwasami, Igane. You know, even now, I'm in my 40s, but my mom, when there are people at home, maybe even Christmas, like, when people are like,
Ingani.
then it says me. So, really, when she say thank you, you know, when I do things for my mom, because I take care of my mom, she always say, "Nyabonga sis." So she hardly calls with my name.
Okay.
So to her, I'm just a child.
Sure.
Yeah, to her, I'm
all right.
just a child.
We are going to call you Kulekhe for the rest of the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Kule right here. All right. Because we want to get to know Kule today. Kule, tell us your upbringing, you know, like, what was that like? How many siblings did you have? Your mom, your dad? Take us through that journey as a young child.
How do I call my upbringing? So where I grew up, I grew up in rural areas. So where I grew up, you hardly, if you don't have something, it's put out there that, okay, this one is lacking. So I don't come in a family that has everything, but also I don't come in a family where there's nothing, you know? So where we come from, it's, if someone has mili, another person has, because we have cows, we have milk, we have meat, there's crops. So another person will bring beans, another person brings that. So I grew up in a space where people share a lot, which that's why I have a foundation. That's why I'm a very giving person. But sometimes people take advantage of it, that why you're always giving. Sometimes people want to be around me because I'm a very giving person. Sure. But for me, I don't lose anything by giving because that's how I grew up. So you share. So if you have like a lunchbox at school, you have 3 sandwiches, you give one sandwich to another person, another sandwich to another person. So that's how I grew up. And I grew up in a space where we play. Like, so there were no space of arranging a sleeping over like now. Now you need to get along more with the parents. You need to understand the parents. For your child to play out of their house, it's on you as a parent. It was you after school. You put your books, you change, you go play at this time before the sunset. You know, I have to come back, wash my shirts, and then you help cooking or you cook. So Saturday you wake up, you clean, we play. So that's how I grew up, which for me, all that kind of happiness, sharing things with people, being loved in my own home, it was so fulfilling. My parents were divorced, just like I don't remember. I think maybe I was 5 or 6.
Okay.
But my mother respects my father so much, and my father as well. Both of them, they respected one another. So I don't have any anger towards maybe this parent because my parents love me so much.
Sure.
To my dad, he's everything.
Yeah.
And to my mom until today. So maybe that played a role, how I relate to my children right now. That my kids, they mustn't choose between me and their father. Or maybe they mustn't think like I'm their best friend because my parents never make me feel like that. So my mom was just a mother. And she would make sure that when I'm with my dad, hope you are cooking, hope you're not doing this and this, but hope you're not stressing your father, and which there was vice versa. So if maybe I'm doing something my mother doesn't like, she will tell my dad, and my dad's like, don't stress your mom. So there was a time where I asked myself, why these people divorced? Because they still act like a couple. But I think when I was older, in my 20s, I felt like they're different people, very different people. My mother is kind of strict. She's kind of strict. She's so grounded, very grounded. Also very laid down, very laid down, which I'm more the other side of my dad. I can be nice, when I have to, but also I know how to put a boundary. That's what I can say.
Yeah. What type of relationship do you have with your dad?
I don't know, maybe just because my parents were divorced, my dad never shouted at me. He never punished me. Like, he used to talk to me, and this is what I use with my children. So I talk to my kids more than everything. I always want to reason, even when they do something that I don't like, why they did it. And then I will tell them, you can't do it in this way, especially with my firstborn. He is a more emotional kid. He's very in touch with his emotions. So my son, like, crying when he doesn't like something, or if you raise the voice, he gets so shocked. And at that moment, you don't know if you continue to shout, is he understanding? So my dad was a very he never shouted at me. Like, he loved me so much. When he doesn't like something, he say, I don't like this. But he was such a coolest dad until the last day. My mom, he's the one who shouts, but she's very loving. But she's the one who shouts, who punish. Couple of times, maybe when I was younger, she beat me up. But my dad has never done that. But my mom was a mom. So also growing up there, I was not the only one who was beaten up. It was the nature of growing up, also talking back there. I've never even a day talked back to my mom. But the reason now I give my kids a chance, because there will be, I remember moments where maybe I will beaten up or maybe shouted at because my mom think I've done something and I didn't do it. But now you didn't give me a chance to say I didn't do it. So that's why with my kids, I always want to sit them down. I want them to acknowledge when you did something, no matter how angry I am. Tell me why you did it. So take accountability, take a responsibility, say you're sorry. But there's no even one day where I would force my kids, oh, you did this. So also I want them not to get away with things, because I've seen when people get away with things, how much it hurts another person. So my kids know. So right now, we're in a space where my son is 12, another one is 13. They come first before I even see. I mean, because they know I don't like them to eat in their bedrooms. But sometimes, because of PlayStation, they do that. And then he will come. So I was sitting in bed and then I broke your plate. So it doesn't mean just because, I'm okay with it. But for the fact that you didn't allow me to get so angry. Now I have to ask who broke the plate. But also remember what I said, don't eat in the bedroom. And the reason is not like I'm controlling. It stains the bed sheets. And also I want them to have that unity. Like when it's time for us to eat, let's eat as a family. So I put that on them. And also I don't want when I punish them, maybe if I ground my kids, I don't want them someone now you close yourself in the room, because I never grew up like that. If it's time for us to eat, come, let's eat together. So one thing I'm so proud of that I do with my children, the presence of love, even when you are not okay with me. And I do that with them. So I still play my role to love my children, even when I'm angry at my kids. And that's one thing I struggle more in relationships. When someone, you're not talking to me, or I've done something, then now when you're not texting, you're not calling, you're not going to pick me up, or you won't play your role. So the absence of love when you are not okay, for me, I found it so disrespectful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What conversations did you have with your dad before he died?
My dad was not a talker. So, but he was one person who was constantly telling me that he loves me. And I think one thing I didn't do, which he told me to do, it was like, when I choose someone to settle with, it must not only be love. It must be the character, the respect, salvation, which I didn't apply all those things.
Yeah.
I only chose love, which I wish I did. But I was young that time. So also, when you're younger and marriage comes, you are just so crazy in love. You undermine a lot of things. You don't even, obeying in Jesus' name, which now, because now I'm older, I'm wiser, no matter how much you love me, do you respect me though? Do you consider my feelings and also your character, how you talk to people? That time I didn't look at all those things,
Sure.
which my father told me to do. So, but I think when you haven't experienced something, it's not that easy to apply certain things. And but also age-wise, I was just in love. I was just so crazy in love. So I didn't apply those things. Now that mistake will never happen again. It will never happen again.
Yeah.
It will never.
Is that one of your biggest regrets?
I think it is, because there's nothing happened in my marriage that it never happened when we're still dating, or it didn't happen maybe in the beginning, it only happened late. Most things were just there. It was just me who overlooked them then. So I only blame myself because it was more of me putting my love, and I stayed because of the reflection of my love. So
Sure.
it was the reflection of my love. And also it was more of, in the beginning, not me knowing to separate gifts, because for me, gifts is part of my love language. When you give me something, no matter how small it is, no matter, it's either it's small or it's big. For me, it's my love language. I love it because that's how I am. That's how I show up, So if we attend things together, for me, that's bond. But there was a different structure. There was a different structure. Those things were there, but they were in a replacement of my own happiness.
Sure.
So it was so hard to differentiate that actually I'm alone in this thing,
Sure.
because most things were hidden in my love language. So I thought it was love.
Sure.
Yeah, because there's no way you can love someone so much as you can, but also you break the same person, you lie to the same person, you humiliate the same person, you expose the same person. So love means protection, love means accountability, love means putting yourself first than another person. But when you can't lie in there with a straight face to someone that you love, even when you mess up, because I was there to say, tell me the truth. So if there was no media, there were certain things I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But because of the media put those things out there.
Sure. Tell us about your relationship with your mom and what type of conversations you've had with your mom.
My mom prays more. And he's the one, she's one person. She's one person who always tell me to let things go because one of my weakest things, I struggle to let things go. So because I'm one person who, when I give myself, I give so much of myself. And when it comes to, when I reach the point where I have to cut you off, it takes time for me to let it go. I can say hi to you, but I don't even want to be where you are, you know? And my mom is an opposite of that. My mom forgives very easily. Also, my mom likes to address things. You know when someone does something intentionally, and you feel like, I'm not going to be addressing you because you know what you're doing. But my mom always calm down and, no, it's in Kolomina, I'm like looking like, why?
Yeah.
You know? But also, she doesn't hold grudges. She always tells me about forgiveness. She always tell me about God, about praying. My mom prays. She prays for things. And she fasts on my behalf. I'm a foodie. So I learn forgiveness from her.
Sure.
And also for my own faith, for my own journey, for the sake of my children, for the sake of the growth, for the gospel that I serve. I learned that forgiveness goes a long way, because when you don't, you isolate yourself and you don't grow. And also, it's hard for you to be part of moving forward because you put yourself in the corner because you got hurt. So those are the things that I learned from my mom. My mom is just a pure soul. And also, she hardly raised her voice out of nothing. She can shout now, but in 2 minutes or 5 minutes, she's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, you think you're going to talk to me like that and lie down? It's okay.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm still learning that. Because I struggle with that. There are people maybe took me years to forgive, especially in my marriage, we're in the first seat in my marriage, and there were people that I used to vent to, but the way the people were sinking my shit,
Sure.
you know. Most of the information that was in the media, it was people that we put in our first sit. That's why then I had a lot of friends, which now I don't have. Now I have more sisterhood than people that I call friends. That time it was more of showing up even when I didn't have to show up because I needed them in case something happens.
Sure.
Yeah, so, and then when I found out, I struggled to forgive certain people. Even now, there are people that I haven't spoken to since then, but in my heart, I've already forgiven them. Some I talk to, but some I haven't. But not like I'm holding any grudge to anybody. It's more of protecting myself, and also I just feel like there's no reason for us to rekindle certain relationships, but I wish them well. Because there are certain things I won't do to a certain person. There are things, for me, if you are my friend, I won't even think. It's like, if you are my friend, I will never look at your partner like someone that I will have feelings for. There are certain things I will never do. You know, you can't vent to me, then I take the said information, I sell you out or I lick it, then I come and smile on your face. So, but I learned, I'm still practicing. I'm on the journey with God, with my church, helping a lot with that, and also with the personal journey with God, learning to forgive, because forgiveness, that's one thing I find it very hard, because when you choose to do it, you must do it like genuinely, because you can't forgive half, you know. You need to understand what does it mean. And also forgiveness is not, it's so easy to forgive the small things. But there's something where you feel like all of you were stripped of yourself. And there are times where you get triggered. You think you forgive someone, but you get triggered by certain things and you feel like, oh, a certain person did this to me. There are times where you think you forgive the person, and maybe when they say, you know, it's that person's birthday or it's a baby shower, then just remember, oh, you've done that, or no, I'm not going. Then you actually feel like, I haven't forgiven the person. That's where I started learning to pray for myself, because with prayer, it becomes better than you wake up, you say you forgive somebody. It doesn't happen easy like that.
Sure. Before we even forgive other people, I feel like we have to forgive ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, have you forgiven yourself?
Big time. I did. I did because I wanted to grow. I wanted to discover who I was, or all my dreams that I had before, everything else, you know. And it was so unfortunate. The time I got introduced in the limelight, it was just scandals, you know. So it was an unfortunate part. People, they associate me with certain things, but I had to forgive myself for what I am not those things. I'm not that kind of a person. But also, I'm not going to be in a space where now I carry that every day. I feel like I owe people, or I owe now. So it's up to an individual that you want to know me. When you get to know me, you'll know the kind of person I am, you know. And certain people, they don't know the good side of me, because that's how they related to me. Because there were a lot of situations, or things were a lot of betrayal, or maybe they were having like a relationship with my ex-husband, and at the time there were sisters at my home. I would open my home, or sit. That I hated so much. And then now, Joburg is so small. I still need to be with those people. Also, they run certain businesses that I need. I run a business that they need. We encounter, but that is there. You know, it's still there. So it just, I forgave myself. And I felt like if I can start hate everybody because of my marriage, I'll be alone. You know, so there's no need, because that chapter is closed. And I worked on myself. I bounced back. I discovered who I was. I ran my own business. Also, the most important thing, I want to be in a good relationship with the God that I serve, so that I can open my heart and my hands to receive my own blessings. I don't want anyone to be the reason I'm not receiving my blessings. Also, my kids deserve a healed mother. My kids deserve a happy mom. So when my kids come to my place, they look forward to me on a Tuesday when they have to come Friday. They start calling on Tuesday, Mama, what time are you calling? What time are you picking us up? Because they know when we're together, I always make sure that my kids, they are the happiest human beings ever. But I can't do that when I'm not healed. And also, my kids deserve to have a relationship with their father. But if I don't forgive myself, I don't forgive him, there's nothing good I can say about him. So it mustn't come from me. So even when, because kids sometimes are manipulated, even when they say, no, Eddie said, I was like, no, that's your father. When they because I don't want them to look at him in a certain way. As much as I still want my kids to respect me, as much as so many things happened, but my children deserve to respect him because he's their father.
Sure.
Yeah.
You want to give so much to the world through your foundation and everything. But what's the one thing that you still haven't given to yourself?
I haven't given to myself. I don't have anything that I can, because I think I have given myself everything I want to give. Although some things I'm still on the journey. I think I've given myself everything I want to give myself. It's just like certain things, I'm still unlearning them. Because some, it's culture. Some, it's things that I grew up knowing. Then I feel like, you know what, I have to unlearn this. Some is the journey that I went through, which is like maybe the limelight, the marriage. So I have to give myself a privilege of unlearn certain things so that I can be at my best. So, and I'm not rushing myself to unlearn certain things. So I want to take my time, do things at my own pace. So, because I'm not in competition with anybody, I'm not here to compete with anybody. This is myself. This is the only thing I have. It's me. So I love the space that I'm at right now, especially emotionally, spiritually, even financially. I love everything that I provide for myself.
Sure.
I love the relationship that I have with God. I love that I know what is my weakness. And now I know how to do a boundary that Norma, just don't do that because you know yourself, you know, I won't be able to carry certain things. So I'm not so hard on myself, and I'm not rushing myself to do certain things that I'm not ready to do. So I'm taking one step at a time because it's my own journey. And there's no precedent. I'm not time out. I'm not time frame. This is life. It's my journey. At this point, I'm in the right space. Let me put it that way.
How many siblings do you have?
I have, to my parents, I'm the only one.
Okay.
But we have so many in the house. People we're raising because my mom's got a big heart. So where I come from, you can say, oh no, this is not, or this is half, this is my cousin. I didn't grow up like that. Yeah, but to my dad, it's me. Yeah.
Do you feel like because you were raised by a single mom that you had to grow up protecting your mother?
I won't say that I didn't feel that way. I've never felt my mom as a single mom or my dad as a single dad. I've never, any of them never pushed themselves as individuals. They were always a team. So I'll be lying if I can. And also I've never seen my dad making my mom angry or now I have to protect my mother. I've never been in that space. I've never been in that space. So my mom is just, she raised me the way she could raise me, and my dad also played the part that she played. I think they did it as individuals, but they did it collectively. So it will be me lying, acting like, oh, my mom stood by herself, or maybe my father stood by herself. Same thing applies with me right now in co-parenting. I'll be lying if I say, oh, I'm such a single parent by myself. So my kids my kids stay with their dad, but most of the time they're with me. So we are there. We are both there. So there's no any parent that's better than any other parent. Although, because I think they are boys, they always act like mommy is everything. And to me, because they are my boys, they are my children, I act like, oh, I'm the coolest mom to them. But at the end of the day, I think we both love them. So there's no maybe better parent, let me put it that way. So when it comes to the whole what happened, that's between the two of us, which it doesn't take away that we rob them a home, because I think all kids deserve to grow up in a home where there's a mother and a father. But that's vengeance. It's on God. It's not me to judge that part of it. So right now, I'm happy how we are co-parenting, although there's much happening, but we always find our way to co-parent.
I want to get where the protection part of you like comes from, because I get a lot of like, you are the type of person that just wants to protect people, you know, like you want to protect people, you want to protect yourself, you are a protector, you know. And I want to know, like, where's that from?
Maybe it's how I grew up. Maybe also the culture itself. Where I grew up in the village, they have never seen. We knew that maybe this family doesn't have much, but the whole community will shield that family. There were kids who didn't have money to go to school, but a certain person will like, okay, let me take care of them. So me seeing that, even part of my family members, maybe my aunt, were like, oh, okay, let me take you to a holiday. So I think maybe it's the culture, it's my upbringing. I've never seen someone being a loner like I've seen here in Joburg. Like when you go through things, you can go through things by yourself. But I never wanted to be that person. I always show up to people regardless how I feel. I will show up. And I've seen people showing up for me as much as people hurt me, betray me, but there were certain people who were there for me, who still care for me even right now. But also I felt like there's so many things that has happened to me. God has loved me. Maybe I'll give the credit to God that maybe He has protected me through different things happened to my life. When I lost my dad, through divorce, because there were certain things that I never wanted to witness, like things like that. When I got hijacked in front of my son, so all those things were, but God's grace carried me through. When I think of if I can be without any grace, if I can be without God, I feel like I could have felt everything the way public felt it for me. Because people feel like, oh, wow, she went through the most, or she's the most strongest. But as much as those things were hitting me, but it's not like I felt them the way public felt it, because my God was there, pet me. So there was no a day where I felt like, oh, my life is finished, or I need to kill myself. I've never reached that point, because I always had that hope. Also, maybe that's why I managed to live. I managed to start from scratch, because I always have that hope. Because I think of the higher power, I think it's just God. As much as now I'm more stronger in my faith and in my relationship with God, which I was not at that time, especially the presence of everything. I think material, luxury, sometimes you make like feel comfortable, you feel like you don't need, which now pieces more everything, because you can have all those things, but if you still sleep with the medication, you can't sleep, you're so depressed, but you have all that material. So when you're older and when you have God, life presents itself differently in a way where I feel like me being peaceful, me being a good woman, me not showing up in anger, me not showing up in bitterness. But I'm not a person now I have to be so hard on myself. Oh, I wish I didn't do a certain interview. That time, everything that I've done, everything. There were times I've done things because I was mad, because I'm human. There were times I've done things because I felt betrayed. There were times I've done things because I was bitter. I'm human. So now I'm not going to be rushing myself, correcting those things. What I can do now is to make myself a better person for my partner, for my children. Then because my kids deserve a healed mom, especially my partner right now, deserve like a good woman, because he took the chance to just put everything aside, that everything has been said, everything has been done. This is a good woman. And also with my friends that I have right now as well. They are friends that went through a lot because of me, in terms of when I was going through a tough time. They were hurting, they were praying for me. And most friends that I have, their lives are private now, but people know them maybe through my Instagram or through certain events that I attend with them. And people will say things to them, and they didn't sign up for that, but because they are part of my circle. So, and I appreciate everyone. I'm very grateful for everyone who stood until today. I do.
Sure. If I was your dad right now, what would you say to me?
I'll tell him I love him. I'll tell him I love him. Thank you. I'll thank him for loving me unconditionally, and also teaching me to be a strong person. I think I bounced back because of how he taught me that life is not only about loving a certain person, but life comes with different things. So I'll just say I love him for everything, how he has showed up, and also being a selfless person. My dad he had a good heart. Yeah, he had a good heart and pushed through things. And I think I was talking about that with my partner last week. I was saying, the reason I spoiled my mom because my mom respected my dad even when they broke up. And also, that's one thing I can say with my dad. My dad never, ever, ever treated my mom in front of me in a bad way. For the fact that he respected my mother, even when my mother was not his wife. But he always had that's the mother of my children. And he wanted everyone around him to respect my mom. Even when he passed away, it was so many years they broke up, but my mother honored. He was there sitting down, and I was like, "Girl, are you sitting right?" So that to both my parents, I respect them because it shows sometimes being a bigger person and put a place the love that you have for the people that you say you love, it goes a long way. So because of them, I can able to go through things and then I become better because I think I've never seen them. So when I look at my life, look at my divorce, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
That was so traumatic, which my parents never went through that,
Sure. Two more people. If I was your two sons right now, what would you say to me?
If you claim you love someone, show up for them. And when you show up to people, and I told them, I think last month, we were watching the movie called The Forge together. And there's where that guy who's leading there, telling that boy in the movie that you need to show up to people the way you want people to show up to you. So I always tell them that you must be love yourself. And my kids love each other so much. And one thing I want, and I always tell them, is to see them loving one another, respecting one another. My firstborn always feel like it's his role to take care of his brother, and his brother is a more independent and more stronger. But Mbelo knows how to give Nkangizi space that Nkangizi is the firstborn. So as much as he's more stronger, more independent, but he knows that he's my big brother. And I love that when my kids do that. And also my older one knows that, you know, sometimes he's got this thing, I'm a big brother, but he knows that Belo's my younger brother. And there are times where he will say, I'm taking care of him because of you, because I know he's your favorite, because he's a baby, you know. And I love that one. And when you give them one thing, I remember most of the time, so my firstborn doesn't like to go to shops, to go to a restaurant, and he's not a foodie. My second-born is a foodie, he's like me, and he loves fashion like me. So we're more like, you know. So most of the time when I say to him, let's go to the store, let's go to the grocery, or let's go to the restaurant, he always say, I'll stay at home. I'll see you guys when you come back.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't like it when he always stay behind. And I remember, so when we get to shops, I always say, let's not buy him something so that he learn to come.
Yeah.
But he always say, he's my brother though. I'll buy it because he's my brother.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because they love each other beyond. And I allow them to love themselves beyond. And I always say, so when we're there, 6, 7, 8, sometimes they used to fight that time. Now they don't anymore. I always say, you guys are siblings before anything. And the times where now they are friends, they are individuals. So they don't attend as together as brothers.
Yeah.
So each and every person now you have your own brother, your own friends. So I always say to them, no matter you have friends, but just know this is your brother, this is your blood. Your blood will be there for you. And don't allow anything to come between you. And they know that. I always tell them. It's just like now they tell me, my brother comes first and you, mommy.
Yeah.
So it was nicer when they used to say, I come first, you the queen.
Yeah.
But now they say, mommy, I love you, but my brother. So, and I love it, and I don't want to fight that. My prayer, and one thing I want, when they're older, I want to allow my children to choose their partner from their hearts. And then allow them to be happy without me involving myself. Now my kids, they don't know where to stand because I'm holding them. Oh, these are my sons. Oh, I went through. It's got nothing to do with them. So I ask God for that wisdom, for that discernment, that I should allow God should give them good partners that will love them the way they love. That my kids, they don't have to fight for love, fight for their space. But I don't want to be that mom that now my kids are so scared to buy cars for their partners because we haven't done this for mom. I want them to know that they don't owe me anything. They have free life.
Sure.
They have free life.
Okay, the last one. If I was your ex-husband, what would you say to me?
He must be true to himself. And also, not everything is about power, which I think maybe that's one thing he struggles with. I will call it a struggle. Maybe he doesn't think it's a struggle. But you can't have so many people and you claim you love them. From his first marriage to the second marriage, and all other people are in between that he's been with. Love is a genuine thing. So if I can talk to him, I think when I decided to give him the kids, when he asked to stay with the children, I said, just love them. Don't do what you did to me. And just have one person, which is our children. No matter what life or what people say about him, maybe people, political, they can say, oh, he's like this and this. But my children will say he's the best dad. So if one thing I can tell him, you just need to learn to do things intentionally. When you claim you love people, just love them. Because there was a point I asked myself, why this guy married me? Because you never even once be faithful to me. Even when you decided to marry me, there were people. Maybe right now, people that are still in now, they were there. So why you chose me out of them? So also why all of us must be there, loving you. Because at the end of the day, I don't know how women, we always hate one another, leave their source, which was him, you know. That's one thing I can tell him. He must be truthful to himself. When you claim you love your children, just love them without breaking them emotionally, spiritually. As a leader, show up truthfully, because there are people who felt like betrayed by him as a leader, who loved him, who really showed up for him. Because beside everything, I still think he's a good father, he's a great leader, but being, maybe let me put it this way, lacking accountability, it ruined everything for him. Being so used to walk away without being accountable, without taking responsibility, it ruined that good side of him.
Sure.
And now, until today, I don't even think he regrets anything. But that's not for me to make him to be like that. It's his God, it's himself to make that right. For me, I'm just grateful that he's trying his best to show up with my children. That's the only thing he owes to me, is to be a good father to my kids. The rest, I just don't care. I just don't care.
Sure. Norma, you've got 2 hands and you've got 10 fingers. Are you reaching your full potential?
I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best.
What do you feel like you still need to accomplish?
For now, my business is at the space where it pays my bills. I do things for myself, for my mom, for my kids. The reason I wake up every day, I want to be in a space where I give the platform to people, especially startup entrepreneurs. People are coming from university, where it's not like 2 or 3 people. When I say I'm talking about giving back, people who just come do internships. I want to be in a space where I have a platform where, when you say fashion designers, they just come, they have fabrics, they can start business without them contributing anything, because I know that they don't have. Then for me, that accomplishment where I can be able to go where I come from, then I build a school by myself. And I know I will do all those things because I'm willing and I know I have the capability and I trust myself I will do those things. So for now, when I say I give back, it's more of me maybe raising money from other people, or take few individuals, put them in my foundation or in my company. But the day I can fill up like a 5-day program or a month program, then I fully fund it by myself. Then that's an accomplishment for me. When I don't want anything out of that. People are not paying any money, but I just know I'm doing it to contribute to the economy and to people who doesn't have. Because there are so many people, there are so many fashion designers who are so good, but the reason they are not well known, they don't have the money to do a fashion show. They don't have the money to buy fabric to show up. They don't have that startup money to pay for them. And not only them, so many people who lack because of the resources. So if I can have that as a platform, I'll be done.
Sure. I'm going to ask you two things about your perspective now, Ndamna. What is your perspective on power?
Firstly, for me, power needs wisdom. Once you have power, but you don't have wisdom, I feel like you don't have power, you are powerless. Because as a leader, for you to lead people, for you to have that power, just lead well without being intimidated. By me saying that, I'm referring to when you are a boss and there's someone in your team who's so smart, but you know this person is enemy. But once you start as a boss to abuse that person or you feel intimidated by that person, you're still not powerful because you're not going to allow that person to bloom in your company, and that person won't be able to show up in their full potential because they are scared of you.
Sure.
And you will reach a space where maybe you will fire that person because you don't want that person to shine. And there are certain bosses even in private sector or public sector where, because you know certain individual is very good maybe in doing presentation and everything, you will just say that person, oh, do this presentation, and then you take that, you present it to the board or to the ESCO, you act like it's your work when it's not. That's not power for me. You are just the CEO, but you are not. It's just a word. And also, another thing that I can add, for me, if you say power, you're not too humble enough. You can have billions or you can be a multimillionaire, but if you can be humble, you are equal as someone who don't have any money.
Sure.
Because by you having that money, but your soul is still troubled. You're not peaceful. You're using your money to lure people to come to you, and you can't even sleep at night. You're not peaceful. You know, because every time you are just plotting how I'm gonna take Itu down, I'm gonna take Norma down. So you're not powerful. When you're powerful, it's when you are content.
Sure.
And also when you are peaceful, and when you are humble.
Yeah.
And when you can come in here, people don't even know that you're a millionaire. And then people, they say, oh, this person is rich. You're like, what? For me, that's power when it's in hands that are meaningful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's powerful. What's your perspective of family?
Family is love. Family is sacrifice. Family is where your kids eat first without you eating. Family is when you are a CEO, but you go to the village to bury someone who has nothing because he's your family. You put their titles on the side. Family is where you're serving without being asked to play your role.
Sure.
That's you being family. Family is love. Family is kindness. That's family. And when I'm talking about that, I'm not only talking about blood. You are my family because you are my sister. We've met a couple of times. And the reason I always show up for you, because you show me sisterhood.
Sure.
Then I call you family in
Yeah.
that way. And I think I remember when we met last time, you were like, then I was like, oh, I love these candles.
Yes.
Then you were like, oh, I want to give you as a gift. But I was like, can I pay for it?
Yeah.
Because I had the money. But if I
Sure.
didn't, I was going to take it. So me, by contributing to another person, uplifting another person, that's family.
Sure. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. Oh, Norma, I started seeing my greatness and my power when I started seeing me and stopped looking at me. Now, I'd like to give you this mirror, and then I want you to look into it.
Okay.
William, I started seeing my greatness and my power when I started seeing me instead of looking at me. What do you see when you look at yourself in that mirror?
I see beauty. I see strength. I see resilience. That's what I see in the mirror.
Yeah.
I see a better me. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. So this episode was made possible by AMPD Studios with their top-of-the-line video and visual and sound equipment. And Vela Creatives with their top-of-the-line post-production, powered by Aya's Candles SA. Itumeleng, this is a gift from Aya's Candles SA and myself. Please do enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
And I'm going to sign your book for you, as well. I'd like to leave you with this message. A candle tried to burn me. It also tried to ruin me. But that very same candle lives within me. And that candle is shining bright. And I'd like to say to you today, Norma Mngoma, keep on shining.
Thank you.
And keep allowing your candle to burn bright. Yeah?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And from me, Mrs. Itumeleng Sekhu-Pedi, keep your perspective alive. Mwah.